They took everything from us. Because magic runs through us.
Hi Shalom, it's so awesome to talk to you.
That is so cool to talk to you. I'm already missed South Africa. I filmed there for 3 months and it was the greatest place ever.
Where did you visit?
Yeah. So we were staying in Cape Town. So I pretty much did as much as I could in Cape Town, and I think it is the most beautiful country ever. So cool. Greatest people. So I was, even talking to you now, I'm like, oh, I want to go back there. I might be hated for saying this as an Australian, but I actually think the seafood is better in South Africa. What I'd give for some South African sushi right now. Oof.
Yeah, I had some yesterday.
Oh no, yeah, making me jealous. It's okay.
Hi Katherine, it's so lovely to speak to you.
Hi, thank you so much, likewise.
Congratulations on Cursed. I enjoyed it so much, and I love that you play this incredibly strong female lead character. What does it mean to you to be a part of this reimagined version of such a legendary story?
It's definitely such a special opportunity, and it's something that there's a fly in my background. That's fun. I mean, to answer your question, I grew up being such a fan of the fantasy genre, and I love history. And so the Arthurian legend, I think, is something that we're all so familiar with. But usually when we think about it, we think about King Arthur and Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table. We very seldom see the stories of the female characters within them. And especially for the Lady of the Lake, who's such a prolific character, we know very little to nothing about her. So to have the opportunity not only to explore that part of such an incredible legend, but also to have the opportunity to tell the story of a true heroine and to acknowledge a woman's journey to becoming a hero with all of the obstacles that are specific to women, it felt like a very fresh and exciting challenge, because it's something that we haven't really seen a lot of.
What if the sword chooses a queen?
Why do you feel like a strong female character is such an important thing?
I think it's so important because the series that we're used to watching aren't usually female-led. And so it's really nice to have a little bit of difference. And I think that's always a good thing. There's room for all of them. It doesn't have to be one or the other. There's room for everyone, which I love that.
I absolutely love your character, Morgana. I feel like she's just this amazing, strong Black woman. She's a key figure in the resistance. I just feel like she's everything we need right now. What drew you to the role?
Everything that you just said as well has drew me. I think she's so decisive. She's so loyal. She's so passionate. And she really believes in right and wrong. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, who's from where, who believes in what. There's right and there's wrong, and there's how you treat a human and there's how you don't. And I think that is at her core. And although potentially she gets a little lost along the way, that at her root, I think that's a really amazing part of her character that I was so drawn to.
There's a message of accepting yourself for who you are, scars and all, overcoming adversity and even self-doubt. What advice would you give to someone who is struggling to accept their scars?
I mean, Nimue is probably very familiar with that, scars and all, because she is quite literally marked by this thing that makes her different. I think one of the strongest messages in this is that different is good. Everyone has something special within them, and only you know what that is. And when you embrace it, you embrace all of you. And I think when people are truly themselves, that's when they're their strongest.
Did you have to go through any training for the series, like maybe horse riding, something like that?
Yeah, horse riding. That was the one for me. And I'm so glad I just had to focus on just the horse riding. I can't imagine my castmates having to learn how to ride a horse and fight and wield a sword and kick people. I'm props to them, because I was fully focused on learning how to ride a horse. Riding a horse and speaking at the same time is really difficult. Riding a horse and not thinking you're going to die is difficult enough. Then adding acting on top of that, it's just... Somehow it worked.
Well, I think you're pretty convincing, if it helps.
Yeah, I hope so. Watch those scenes. There's real fear in those eyes. Thank God we're constantly fearing things in the series as well.
Finally, what do you love about the fantasy genre, especially during a time like now with a global pandemic?
Definitely in times that are surreal or bizarre like they are now, something like fantasy serves for such a beautiful escape from reality. But I also think what makes fantasy so special is that if it's written well, it has the ability to kind of show us the world that we're living in through a perspective that is lighter or that doesn't feel so directly targeted. What's special about Cursed is that hopefully it brings that levity and escapism that the fantasy genre has, but it's also very timely because a lot of the issues and themes that we address within the show are things that we're having global conversations about now.
Yeah, absolutely. I found it super, super relevant and very timely, I think. So well done. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
This is our only chance at survival.
Watch 5FM TV on YouTube. 5FM.